depending on the time that you're watching this, of course, all those times would fit in. I'm happy that you're here and I'm excited to just talk to you. I want to talk about something that is very important in our work as Christians. There is something that Jesus taught his disciples. It is often referred to as the golden rule. The golden rule is like very important. It is found in the book of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 12. And the Bible says in that verse that in everything, do unto others as you would have them to do unto you, which means what you don't like, don't do it to another. What you like is what you do to the other because you would love for people to do that to you. Now, there are instances where human beings, both in the Bible and in the natural life, have broken this golden rule and they have had to pay dearly for breaking this rule. I want to share three instances. For example, in the book of Esther, the story is told of two gentlemen. Of course, the story is about Esther, but I want us to digress from Esther a little bit and talk about her cousin, who is called Mordecai. Mordecai was a Jew who had been brought to Persia as a slave, and he had assumed guardianship of his cousin, who's called Hadassah. And Hadassah, of course, is the same person who's called Esther. And Esther later, of course, as we all know, becomes the queen after Queen Vashti refused to obey the king's command to come and parade her beauty before the king. And so the king now has to select another queen. And this time Esther is selected and she becomes the queen. That's the story about Esther. But now Mordecai has a problem with another gentleman called Haman. Haman happens to be the queen's vizier, I mean the king's vizier. The king's vizier means this is like a prime minister. He was the one that was supervising how the country is run. So, being the king's vizier, he demanded that everybody should stand up and bow to honor him as he passes. But Mordecai refuses. Mordecai was always outside of the king's court, and he was there because he was concerned for the welfare of Esther. He would always pass there to check how she's doing. But as he would be there all the time, Mordecai never bowed down to honor Haman whenever he passed. Now, Haman was very, very annoyed by this disrespect from Mordecai, and he would go home happy about everything else but sad about this one thing, and he would ask his wife. His wife would advise him on how to handle this provocation by Mordecai. So the wife advised that they should, or rather, that Haman should convince the king to issue a decree for the killing of all the Jews. To issue a decree for the killing of all the Jews. But remember, the king is at this time married to Esther. And as he is married to Esther, he does not know that Esther is a Jew. He does not know. It was hidden from him, or rather from everybody. It was concealed. It was Mordecai and Esther that kept the secret. So now the king agrees and actually issues that decree for the killing of all the Jews. And Haman wants a particular way that he will kill Mordecai that is it's more painful perhaps because everybody else will be killed, yes, but Mordecai has to be killed a certain way. And so the wife to Haman advises him, and she tells him that surprisingly she understands all the powerful men that have been fought for by God. And she says that if the man before whom you have started to get your downfall is from the Jewish roots, rather, those I'm paraphrasing. If is a Jew, if that man is a Jew, you cannot stand against him. You will surely come to ruins. Those are the words of the wife to Haman. She tells him, if this man is a Jew, then you're not going to survive this war. However, let us analyze let us analyze the kinds of torture that the Jews have gone through and see which one that we can use against Mordecai. So she said, if we are to put him in a furnace of fire, Mishael, Belshazzar, and Abednego already survived that. If we took this man and put him in a den of a lion, then of course Daniel already went through that. If we put him in prison, Joseph was in prison. He was incarcerated there, but he came out. If we are to send him to a wilderness, then the Israelites were in the wilderness and they thrived and they were there and they were fruitful. So we cannot do that. And if we can say that we torture him in whatever way, they have already gone through these methods of torture and they have always emerged triumphant. But none of these people has ever survived a hanging. So we shall make gallows and hang this man by the gallows. And Haman felt that was a brilliant idea. He agreed, and gallows were made by the gates, ready for the hanging of Mordecai. Well, aside from that, the king has his own issues, right? And the king has actually been invited by the queen, that is by Esther, to go and have dinner at her place. You see, the king has several queens that time. There's a particular one that gets their own, it's like they have their own program. The king goes to this one this time, to another the other time. So it was not Esther's time yet, but she still came and persuaded the king to actually have dinner at her place and bring Haman along. The king agrees, and Haman is actually excited about it. That besides the king, it's only him that has been invited. So they go to Esther's for dinner, and it's at that dinner that Esther reveals to the king that she's actually a Jew, and herself plus all the other Jews have been earmarked for death, and the person who wants them dead is actually the other person seated at the table with the king, Haman. The king is actually infuriated, and he commands that Haman be the one that is hanged on those gallows that he had prepared for Mordecai. That is one story in the Bible, the book of Esther. The other story in the book of Daniel, where now Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, I called them Shadrach, Belshazzar, and the names were changed. But Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were actually put in a furnace of fire. You see, Nebuchadnezzar had created a golden god, small g, for everybody to bow down before it. And these three gentlemen said they will not bow down to any idol. They can be thrown in any fire, but they will not bow down to any idol. So they actually told the king that, you throw us in the fire, our God is able to save us from the fire. But even if he doesn't save us from the fire, we still will not bow down before the golden calf. So they are thrown in the fire. And the fire, they say that the fire had been kind of amplified, if I may use that word. It's not in the Bible, but it's the fire is set up that it's several times hotter than normal. So these guys are thrown in the fire, and the ones who threw them in the fire were the ones that got burnt. You see, like, I am throwing you in the fire, then you, because God is with you, you do not get anything burnt from your body. But myself, that is actually by the side and just getting you in the fire, I am the one who gets burnt. So these guys were not burnt in the fire, but the ones who set up the fire are the ones who got burnt by their own fire. It's just like The gallows that were organized by Haman are used to hang Haman himself. Thirdly, I want us to look at another story that is outside of the Bible now. In the ancient Greek, in Greece, there was a tyrant king, a king who at one point just wanted to have a unique torture mechanism that would be used to execute people. He was called Phalaris or Phalaris. Phalaris asked for people to think about what best way they can torture people so that they experience the worst pain and they make that torture program a public spectacle. So there was another gentleman called Perilos. Perilos is the one who now came up with a brilliant idea, and he invented something that is called the brazen bull. The brazen bull is also called the bull of Phalaris or Sicilian bull, and it's brazen, it's made from bronze. So it is a statue of a normal bull, but it is hollow inside and outside it's made from bronze. So this bull has a door on top. So someone is actually put in through that door, and that door is locked, and a fire is lit below that bull, so it roasts the person inside. That person, as they will be wailing and shouting and screaming inside the bull, there was a trumpet like tube put inside the bull that it converted that wailing of the person inside the bull to come out as the normal bellowings of a living bull. So the person burns, the voice comes out as though it's a bull that is making that noise. Now again, as the person is burning, there was incense that was placed in the bull so that the smell that comes out is a sweet smelling incense, so that you do not feel bad about nothing would make you to pity the person inside the bull, because you're not hearing any screams of a human being, you're hearing the screams of the normal bull. What's interesting about this invention is that while presenting this invention to Phalaris, Peliros the inventor was asked to demonstrate how that sound comes out. And therefore, what better way to demonstrate but to go inside the bull itself and make a sound? So when Peliros went into the bull, the door was locked and a fire was lit underneath the bull. It roasted him, but before he died, Phalaris freed him from the bull. So he was removed from the bull when he was almost dead. But Phalaris proceeded to push him from a cliff and killed him still. So Perilos was the first victim of his own invention. I don't know whether you're following, because let's begin from Haman makes the gallows, he's hanged on those gallows. These guys, the ones that were sent by the Nebuchadnezzar to make the fire, they make the fire burns them, and it spares the three, plus of course the fourth man, that is God, Jesus with them in the fire. And now Phalaris makes Peliros the first victim of his own invention of the brazen bull. Fast forward, Phalaris the tyrant is overthrown from power much later, and he is also roasted in the brazen bull. So from this, I'm just looking at what Jesus said, that do unto others what you would that they do unto you. You see, these people that I've referred to are people that were hell-bent on breaking that golden rule. They wanted to inflict pain, and unique and the most pain for that matter, to another person. But things turn out that this pain actually, it comes back to them. They're the ones who suffer the pain that they intended for the other people. So I just want to share. I wanted to just share that and charge you and implore you that in your own smallest way, whatever it is that you would desire that people do to you, do for you, be willing and ready to do it for another and to another. All right. I think still in the Bible, in the book of Luke, the Bible says, "Give and it shall be given to you." So even actions, the actions you give shall be given to you. Right? The sympathy you give to another shall be given to you. The material things that you give to another shall also be given to you. But the surprising thing is that they shall be given to you in greater measure than you give. So if you're giving good things, well and good, you will receive good things. You will reap good things from people. If you're giving the bad, well, we say ipsos facto. Thank you so much. God bless you. God keep you. And remember to do unto others as you would that they do unto you. All right. Thank you so much. God bless you.